Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc. So today's feature match for you, we've got BlackWarGreymon X, a huge big contender of the last format, going against WarGreymon X, another big one from the previous format. However, WarGreymon now has a ton of new pieces at its disposal to really heighten the deck up, but a lot of those same pieces can be used with BlackWarGreymon. We're talking about the new Greymon, the new Agumon, and the new Metal Greymon. Those can all be used in both decks, but the new WarGreymon, of course, going for WarGreymon X. Really powerful new stuff for both of these decks. WarGreymon X still in this, BT13 format that they have in JP right now, still going strong as a deck. BlackWarGreymon X kind of falling off a little bit just because it doesn't quite need what it was so good at before. A lot of those decks aren't around anymore, so WarGreymon X has kind of taken over the spotlight for the WarGreymon decks. However, we're going to match both together today, head-to-head, kind of to see which one is going to come out between the two of them. We actually have two games for you today with both decks kind of popping off a little bit, kind of see how things are intended to be played. And yeah, these decks definitely seem super good. I definitely see why they have stuck around in JP all the way through like 3-4 sets now. Just really solid decks. I wouldn't say they're like busted OP needs banned or anything like that. I think they got the proper banning with the limited of Greymon or Metal Greymon X, preventing that one Evo cost into the metal, or I don't know what I said. The Greymon X getting limited, preventing the Metal Greymon and from being a one Evo cost is super huge. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get into this. Also, don't forget that this month's memory marker is Monimon. So if you're playing a Hunter's deck, definitely going to be a fantastic one to pick up. Not going to be able to really find this one anywhere else. Definitely something unique to my wife. She made this out of clay, hand painted it as well. This is Digimiyu's work here. You can find her Etsy page, link in the description below. This is also our memory marker for our Patreon rewards this month as well. In addition to all the other stuff that she has on Patreon, she's got all the previous memory markers that we featured for her on the channel in the past, as well as she has updated a lot of those old previous memory markers as well with some new additions and new styles to them. Also, if you're interested in ordering cards online, I suggest checking out cardtrader.com. They actually are an incredible site for ordering cards online, similar to TCG Player, but these guys cut down on your shipping cost. What they do is they gather all the cards from across the globe with whatever language you're looking for. They'll gather all of the cards you're wanting in their warehouse, and then you only pay for a single shipping cost to get all the cards that you're wanting, so shipped to you. And whether that's singles or sealed product doesn't matter. And then also, if you use my affiliate link in the description below there, you can actually get a free $2 to spend on anything you want just for signing up. And just for signing up, it helps support me on the channel, as well as whether you're ordering something or just signing up in general, I get a kickback, so it helps support the channel without even having to donate anything. So if you want to help support the channel, just go sign up for an account on cardtrader.com and check it out. I do think that getting all my shipping all under one single cost is really great, because that's one of the things I do not like about tcgplayer.com is the fact that I have to pay for all these different shipping things. Even if it's for like a $2 card, I have to pay $1 shipping, or buying a 50-cent card and paying $1 for shipping always feels so bad. So here they'll just gather up all the cards in one place and then ship them to me for one cost. I am a big fan of cardtrader.com, so yeah, definitely go check them out. Please support the channel. All right, now as always, we've got it sped up to get through these pauses. That is a Koromon, the draw Koromon there as a proxy. We were kind of struggling to find pieces. Both of our BlackWarGreymon X decks have gone missing, and we do not know where they are, so we had to proxy a little bit. Thankfully, we had still most of it set in our binders or extra bulk. So here we're just kind of doing some normal plays that we've kind of seen before. We're going to play an Agumon X there to pick up the X Anybody option. both using the old Greymon X there, solid protection effect, and then going up into the new Metal Greymon. That new Metal Greymon's got Raid, as well as it's giving piercing to pretty much anything that evos on top of it that we have now. So, deciding whether or not to promote up here, I think we end up actually keeping it back. There we go. And just going for a Metal Greymon of our own here, just because on our opponent's turn they have a bigger DP buff than we do, so they can very easily potentially swing over our Metal Greymon if we didn't have a follow up. So like no Mega and such like that. So kicking it back over to them here, they have a few choices. That Metal Greymon can actually put in some serious work here. So choosing to use the raid option here, and then draws for the Koromon, so it's going to swing over our Greymon there, so preventing us from getting up into a stack here. And then just evoing into the new WarGreymon, it does have reboot for that first turn that it evos, and then effectively choking us at 1 memory very nicely. So kind of just debating how the new work the new plays here on what to do, because you don't want to give too much memory unless you know you're going to be clearing that body. We are playing BlackWarGreymon X as well as a Gaiomon. So Gaiomon's always a classic include in those BlackWarGreymon X decks. Goes with our mat very nicely. My favorite Digimon, so I gotta play it when at all possible. So when we're deciding which decks to play, he said WarGreymon. I said that was okay. I'll play BlackWarGreymon X so that way I can play Gaiomon. Works for me. So big debate here. Don't mind my rambling. So evoing for 1 here into the Metal Greymon X. That's the one where if you unsuspend, you can de-digivolve. And then going into Gaiomon here, de-digivolve, and then Blitz for, I believe, 2 checks there. Nothing too crazy. And then reboot. We'll clear another one. Also cleared out their Mega. You know, did give them a ton of memory there. Unfortunately, we did not have the old Metal Greymon that lets us attack unsuspended, or else that would have been a prime situation to go for it. Because now with the new raid system, you don't necessarily need to use it as much. So here we're going to see the X antibody option being slid underneath that Metal Greymon. So you can do some pretty interesting plays. You can swing with the Metal Greymon and then with switch target with the raid, and then evo with the X antibody option. You just got to make sure you do all the right things correctly here. So looks like I think I saw the old Metal Greymon X, the one that gives 3k DP and then security attack +1. And right now, I believe we're sitting at 14k with the new... I'm pretty sure we have the new Greymon there in the stack. That's on all turns. It'll gain a +1k DP buff, which is really good, which is part of the reason Gaiomon, I think, has fallen off a little bit, is because you can't quite swing over your opponent's stack as easily. So here he goes for the raid here. Doesn't have a Black Tamer in play, so gets to play it out for free, and then uses the X antibody option to evo into the Metal Greymon X, and then because he evoed into an X antibody, he suspends the Yuya to give another DP boost here. So he's got the Greymon 2k one, he's got the Yuya, he's got the Metal Greymon X, and so just able to squeak out over us, and then has that piercing now because of the Metal Greymon, and yeah, and then 2 security checks. So just hitting into 2 ties there. Pretty solid. Just plays out a Yuya to pass turn here instead of overextending. We're in a bind, though. We have 3 security left, which feels pretty good. But, you know, it's a red. They can always just pop off out of nowhere and clear you. So we got to be very cautious here. So trying to evo up into a new stack here. And, you know, being choked at that memory as well, and then not seeing pieces. So just going to go for the Agumon search here. Ooh, next card was Hades Force. That would have been pretty nice if we could have actually seen a stack built. So here they're going to go ahead and promote up, deciding on what plays to go for here. They don't have raid at their disposal just yet. But there we're going to see, wow, the old EX1 Metal Greymon. Very interesting tech we do not see pretty much ever. Very, very interesting include. Would have never saw that one coming, but actually comes up great in this exact situation of when it attacks. It could pop the Agumon there. So they are down to 2 security, though. I mean, we could literally blow them out very easily. Just that body. If we could stick a Greymon with security attack +1 and then Evo something on top of it and get some lucky security checks, that Agumon on our field could swing us the game. So choosing just to swing with the Metal Greymon here and then doing the same play they did before, Evoing with the Agumon X. Spins both Yuyas here, searching for with the Agumon from EX1 there. Again, interesting include. And then swinging for 2 security checks. Thankfully, hits into an X antibody option. It gives us another moment to maybe try to do something here. Here we do see that Greymon for the security attack +1. The 2 ties there suspended to make the Evo free. Seeing the one of Greymon X here. Free Digivolve, and then 2 Evo, unfortunately, into the Metal Greymon. Could have maybe done a really interesting play. If we had the Greymon that was only the 1 Evo cost, we could have then gone into the Metal Greymon and we'd been at 0 memory. Maybe could have done some interesting plays. Gone into like another Gaiomon, blitzed over something, like the Metal Greymon X, and then we would have had blocker to deal with them. We could handle 1 stack, but we couldn't handle both stacks, basically. And so here going into the WarGreymon X mid-swing here, just to guarantee that it's going to have the DP buff, and yeah, we're going to scoop it up after that. So going into game 2, that was pretty rough. That Metal Greymon X play twice, very, very cool. Here we're going to see, it looks like maybe a bit of brick here, deciding to do away with the cards, not having it. Forgot Matt at home, had to borrow one, didn't have the counter, so now he's just going to match up to mine. Looks like we're bricking as well there, playing out a red memory boost, just picking up the, I believe that was an Agumon that we grabbed, yep, immediately Evoing it, just because it's got a solid inheritable, and then Agu X after that, just to dig a little bit more, and then just playing out a tie here, just because they're going to go to 3, you don't want to waste memory, if at all possible. So it looks like they're going to start seeing some pieces here. Ooh, playing out that Agumon again from EX1. Very interesting include. He is going a bit heavy, or a bit heavier on the tamers than I would think for WarGreymon X. But for BlackWarGreymon X, I definitely understand it. It's a bit more control and slow. So just a very interesting tech for sure. A lot of interesting techs in that WarGreymon X list that he's got going here for him. So kicking it back over, we did go for the Metal Greymon in raising area, keeping it protected, just because we know that they can do the same play again, so we got to be super cautious. And here, it looks like they're going into a similar play that we had before. We'll see if how it pans out. So deciding to go ahead and promote here, going to go into the Metal Greymon X, pop a 6,000 DP or less, because we went on top of a Metal Greymon. Looks like might have been debating an X antibody option, but if we go into Gaiomon, we don't need it. We should save it to use as protection for the Metal Greymon X. So they're just going into the Gaiomon. Does have the memory fixer, so we're not choking him on memory. So Gaiomon's fine. Look, hitting into all the megas there, 3, and then unsuspend, trash another one. Doesn't look like we have any sort of protection, though, with the stack that we have. I've been debating running the old Agumon X, the black one, that gives the protection effect. Or we might have the... oh, no, we have the Greymon X antibody. Okay, so we do have some option protection there. So that's where you get rid of 2 of the same level to keep it alive. Oof, going straight for the Metal Greymon X here without any effect, or any good effect, I should say, that's going to be relevant right now. And we do have blocker, so you don't want to deal with the blocker. And then it looks like they're just going to go to WarGreymon and pass. We don't have the Metal Greymon that attacks unsuspended, and we don't have Raid at our disposal like he does. So it is fairly protected, I would say. And looks like he does have the option protection as well, so we can't Hades Force. I believe that was actually what I had in my hand at this point, and I was debated using it, but he would just protect it, so there was really no point. I could pop some tamers and then, blitz in. And then we're just adding up DP amounts and stuff like that. He's like, oh, I've got blocker, and I've got the plus 3k from the metal. I believe he's got the plus 3k. But we've got the tie, and then the DP bus from the new Greymon, I believe. No, not the new Greymon, the new Agumon. So we are just, I think, 1k bigger, just because Gaiomon is naturally a 13 instead of a 12. So didn't want to block and lose his stack, because he has nothing in raising area. If we had crashed, I would have been in a better position, because I have a stack ready to be promoted up, and he has nothing, so he'd have to build up from nothing and then risk losing immediately. So decides to let it go instead. We are still at full security. Just choosing to pass here. Reboot. There's no security to trash. So now is the time that you got to start making plays here. You got to figure something out. It's got the X antibody option slid under there. So chooses a swing. Going to use raid to switch targets here. Evos into the Metal Greymon X. Suspends both tamers to just get absolutely massive there. So ends up really working out that raid mechanic. Super solid. Raid is great because it's like everything the old Metal Greymon did for you. But now it's so wild. Because you get piercing and you get that redirect ability. You'd had to combine Metal Greymon, the old 4 Evo cost one, and Gaiomon together to get that benefit. And now this deck just does it. Like, that's just its whole thing. That's just how it plays. So just like that, right back in it, right on top of things. Does have the blocker because of the ties there. So big O, 12k body, I believe, right now. So here we are, going to go ahead and promote up. Bold choice. Now he doesn't have the raid anymore because he did go into the WarGreymon X. He doesn't have piercing either, so that's beneficial for us. So here we're going to go into now we gave him back his raid, but we go into the Metal Greymon here. Going to pop that memory boost. So did de-digivolve that Metal Greymon a little bit here. Now this is that play, the old play that we had at our disposal. We can still do it, so we can go Gaiomon here for 5, de-digivolve, and then swing over, or just swing for game. But again, he's got the blocker, and then we'll reboot, so it forces the block. So here, just adding up DP again. He would have had more DP than me if we hadn't de-digivolved him so much. So here goes for a second stack. He's going to try to do the play again here. Just needs to see the pieces for it. I believe he spent all of his X antibody options, though. Yeah, so couldn't do the attack Evo mid-attack anymore because he burned through. He's done that trick twice in this matchup. So, I mean, it's a really powerful thing, for sure. A really powerful play. But, it's very resource-intensive. Like, you're burning through your Metal Greymon X's, and you're burning through your X antibody options and things like that. So just calculating it up, debating. I mean, he is a decent size here, but we'll just choose to go ahead and block. And then we're adding it up. I think we're exactly even. Yeah, because I wasn't aware that he had boosted him, because he didn't say it out loud. So I was like, oh yeah, no, I'm bigger. And then he's like, oh, yeah, no. I was like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, I'm not going to block that then. There's no reason not to. Just keep my body on field so I can swing for game. Yeah, because 2 ties and the Yuya, that's what, 4K. And then he's just going to scoop it up after that. Can't do anything. Although, looking at that, I think he could have... Oh, no, because he already used the ties, I guess, is what he's thinking. But I feel like you could just use the tie. Oh, no. So tie is either on play or at the start of main phase. That's what it is. I was like, why couldn't he make this a blocker and then he'd still be fine? But no, tie is on play or at the start of main phase, and this Agumon here wasn't there at that point. So, and I don't know if he can choose an Agumon if it's only Greymons, but yeah, either way. So just couldn't quite draw into anything there. I mean, still solid pieces. We see that WarGreymon there, that BT1. Not useful in this matchup necessarily, but in certain games, absolutely. I mean, you never know when you're going to come across those security control players randomly in the wild and wish you were running the BT1 WarGreymon. So yeah, pretty fun. We got to see both decks do their thing, and very much it just kind of comes back to the old BlackWarGreymon. Even though we didn't see BlackWarGreymon X, it's mostly Gaiamon in what we were seeing here. That's super like memory intensive. Without the reduction on the Metal Greymon, like that's huge. And the Gaiamon being a 5, so that's a 4 and a 5 Evo cost right there. And if you go into the Metal Greymon X, that's an additional 1. Yeah, that's 10 memory worth to do that play, whereas WarGreymon just has that kind of stuff built in, you know? It just can just do all these things super efficiently. It does basically a lot of the same stuff that, you know, the previous deck did. It's just more memory efficient in the way it goes about it now. So, and that's the big takeaway of this. If I had to like do something like a glaring, like obvious thing, that's the big takeaway, is they both basically do the same thing. WarGreymon just does it more memory efficiently.